And the two angels came to Sodom in the evening, and Lot was sitting in the gate of Sodom. And when Lot saw them, he rose up to meet them and bowed with his face to the ground. And he said, "Now, my lords, please turn aside here to your servant's house and spend the night and wash your feet. Then you can rise up early and go on your way." But they said, "No, we will spend the night in the square." But he urged them strongly, and they turned aside to him and entered his house. And he made them a feast and baked unleavened bread, and they ate. But before they lay down, the men of the city, the men of Sodom, surrounded the house, both young and old, all the people from every quarter. And they called to Lot and said to him, "Where are the men who came to you tonight? Bring them out to us so that we may have, or no, bring them out to us that we may know them." And Lot went out to them at the entrance and shut the door behind him. And he said, "Please, my brothers, do not act so wickedly. I have here two daughters who have not known a man. Please let me bring them out to you, and do to them as is fitting in your eyes. Only do not do anything to these men, inasmuch as they have come under the shelter of my roof." But they said, "Stand aside." Then they said, this one came here to sojourn, and already he is acting like a judge. Now we will treat you worse than we would have them." And they pressed hard against the man, against Lot, and came near in order to break the door down. But the men stretched out their hand and brought Lot into the house to them and shut the door. And they struck the men who were at the entrance of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves trying to find the entrance. And the men said to Lot, "Whom else do you have here? A son-in-law, or your sons and your daughters, or anyone you have in the city? Bring them out of the place. For we are about to destroy this place, because their outcry has become so great before Jehovah that Jehovah has sent us to destroy it." And Lot went out and spoke to his sons-in-law, who were to marry his daughters, and said, "Rise up, go forth from this place, for Jehovah will destroy the city." But it seemed to his sons-in-law as though he were joking. And when the morning dawned, the angels urged Lot, saying, "Rise up, take your wife and your two daughters who are here, lest you be destroyed in the iniquity of the city." But he lingered. So the men seized his hand and the hand of his wife and the hand of his two daughters, Jehovah being merciful to him, and they brought him out and set him outside the city. And when they had brought them outside, he said, "Escape for your life. Do not look behind you, neither stay anywhere in the plain. Escape to the hills, lest you be destroyed." And Lot said to them, "May it not be so, Lord, even though your servant has found favor in your sight, and you have magnified your loving kindness, which you have showed to me in preserving my life. I cannot escape to the mountain, lest the disaster overtake me and I die. Here the city is nearby to flee to, and it is a little one. Please let me escape there. Is it not a little one? And I shall live." And he said to him, "I now grant you this request also, that I will not overthrow the city concerning which you have spoken. Hurry, escape there, for I cannot do anything until you arrive there." Therefore the name of the city was called Zoar. The sun had risen over the earth when Lot came to Zoar. Then Jehovah rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Jehovah out of heaven. And he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and what grew on the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and went to the place where he had stood before Jehovah. And he looked down upon Sodom and Gomorrah, and upon all the land of the plain, and as he looked, there it was. The smoke of the land was going up like the smoke of a furnace. And when God destroyed the cities of the plain, God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out from the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities among which Lot dwelt. Then Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountains, and his 2 daughters with him, for he was afraid to dwell in Zoar. And he and his 2 daughters dwelt in a cave. And the firstborn said to the daughter, or to the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man on the earth to come into us after the manner of all the earth. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and let us lie with him, that we may preserve alive seed from our father. And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. And the next day the firstborn said to the younger, I have now lain with my father last night. Let us make him drink wine tonight also, and you go in and lie with him, that we may preserve alive seed from our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also, and the younger one arose and lay with him, and he did not know when she lay down or when she arose. Thus both the daughters of Lot became pregnant by their father. And the firstborn bore a son and called his name Moab. He is the father of the Moabites to this day. And the younger she also bore a son and called his name Ben-Ami. He is the father of the children of Ammon to this day. And Abraham journeyed from there toward the region of the Negev, and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur. Then he sojourned in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, She is my sister. And Abimelech the king in Gerar sent and took Sarah. But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, You are now about to die because of the woman whom you have taken, for she is a man's wife. But Abimelech had not come near her, so he said, Lord, will you slay even a righteous nation? Did he himself not say to me, She is my sister? And even she herself said, He is my brother. In the iniquity of my heart and the innocence of my hands I have done this. And God said to him in the dream, Yes, I know that in the integrity of your heart you have done this, and I also prevented you from sinning against me. Therefore I did not let you touch her. Now therefore return the man's wife, for he is a prophet, and he will pray for you, and you will live. But if you do not return her, know that you shall surely die, you and all who are yours. And Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants, and spoke all these things in their hearing. And the men were very afraid. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said to him, What have you done to us? And how have I sinned against you, that you have brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? You have done to me things that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said to Abraham, What were you thinking that you have done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely there is no fear of God in this place, and they will slay me because of my wife. But she is also truly my sister, the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother, and she became my wife. And when God caused me to wander from my father's place, I said to her, This is your kindness which you must do to me. At every place where we go, say of me, He is my brother. Then Abimelech took sheep and oxen and male servants and female servants and gave them to Abraham, and he returned Sarah his wife to him. And Abimelech said, My land is now before you. Dwell wherever it pleases you. And to Sarah he said, I have now given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. It is now your vindication in the eyes of all who are with you, and in every respect you have been cleared. And Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech and his wife and his female servants, so that they bore children. for Jehovah had completely shut up all the wombs of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife. And Jehovah visited Sarah as he had said, and Jehovah did to Sarah as he had promised. And Sarah conceived and bore Abraham a son in his old age, at the appointed time of which God had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son who was born to him, whom Sarah bore to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised Isaac his son when he was 8 days old, as God had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when Isaac his son was born to him. And Sarah said, God has made me laugh. Everyone who hears will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast on the day that Isaac was weaned. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar the Egyptian, whom she had borne to Abraham, mocking. So she said to Abraham, cast out this maidservant and her son, for the son of this maidservant shall not inherit with my son Isaac. And the matter displeased Abraham greatly on account of his son. And God said to Abraham, do not be displeased on account of the boy and on account of your maidservant. Whatever Sarah says to you, listen to her voice, for in Isaac shall your seed be called. And of the son of the maidservant I will also make a nation, because he is your seed. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a water skin full of water, and gave them to Hagar, putting them on her shoulder, and gave her the child and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. When the water skin was finished, she cast the child under one of the bushes, and she went and sat herself down opposite him, a fair distance away, about a bowshot away, for she said, do not let me look upon the death of the child. And as she sat opposite him, she lifted up her voice and wept. And God heard the voice of the boy, and the angel of God called to Hagar out of heaven and said to her, what troubles you, Hagar? Do not be afraid, for God has heard the voice of the boy where he is. Rise up, lift up the boy, and hold him with your hand, for I will make of him a great nation. And God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the water skin with water and gave the boy a drink. And God was with the boy, and he grew. And he dwelt in the wilderness and became an archer, and he dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took a wife for him from the land of Egypt. And at that time Abimelech and Phicol, the captain of his army, spoke to Abraham, saying, God is with you in all that you do. Now therefore swear to me here by God that you will not deal falsely with me, or with my offspring, or with my posterity, according to the kindness that I have shown to you. You shall do to me and to the land in which you have sojourned. And Abraham said, I swear it. And Abraham confronted Abimelech concerning the well of water which Abimelech's servants had taken by force. And Abimelech said, I do not know who has done this thing, and you did not tell me about it, nor have I even heard of it until today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them to Abimelech, and the two of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said to Abraham, what is the meaning of these 7 ewe lambs which you have set by themselves? And he said, these 7 ewe lambs you shall take from my hand, that it may be a witness for me that I dug this well. Therefore he called that place Beersheba, because there the two of them swore an oath. So they made a covenant at Beersheba, and Abimelech rose up with Phicol, the captain of his host, and they returned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba, and there he called on the name of Jehovah, the eternal God. And Abraham sojourned in the land of the Philistines many days.